Hi everybody, and welcome to 32Soft's July webinar, our last until after summertime. I'm Denise, your host for today's session, and our presenter, to whom I will hand off in just a moment, is 32Soft's fearless founder, Alex Kim. We have learned that some folks are able to connect to the webinar a little more quickly than others, so I'm going to stall for about 15, 20 seconds with a quick two-liner. Those of you who are already connected, I'm going to warn you that I'm a terrible joke teller, but here goes. This morning, I told my mom that she was drawing her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised. Oh, wait, hold on. I have a meme for this one. Lucille Ball has always reminded us of my grandmother, so I loved when I saw this meme that I could use. Okay, quick look, and it does look like everyone has finished connecting, so let's go ahead and get through some quick and light housekeeping. Please know that everyone joins the webinar already muted, but here at the bottom of your control panel is where questions can be typed. You can type them in at any time, and then during the Q&A, I will read them aloud in the order received. Then, as soon as the replay from today is available, typically within the week, we will follow up with our Encore email, which will include a link to the replay, all of today's questions and answers. Also, here is a screenshot of our webinar page, easily accessed using top navigation. Everything webinar can be found here, past webinars, upcoming webinars, and you can request webinar topics from here as well. At the bottom here is you'll find the most recent webinar, and if you scroll down, you will find all of our past webinars among these categories. So if you do peruse our past webinars, just please keep in mind that our demos highlight basic capabilities. The team does and is always happy to provide demos for individual organizations where specific needs and nuances can be better addressed. So that's it for our quick housekeeping. Alex, if you are ready.
Hello and welcome everyone. I want to thank all of you for finding time and joining us today. We try hard to make sure your time is well spent on our webinars, so your feedback is always appreciated. And now let's begin. It is said that what gets measured gets managed. What gets measured gets done. These quotes are attributed to many business gurus for the last few centuries. Regardless of the origin of the exact wording, the message is clear. Measuring gives the information needed to actually achieve the goal that we are after. The simple act of measurement increases the internal motivation to perform. When we measure performance against the goal, we have the ability to hold ourselves accountable for the resulting success or failure. We have concrete data that shows what we did or didn't do, what was the impact, and whether we need to do something differently. And let me illustrate with an example. Let's say one day we woke up in the morning, looked at the mirror, and decided to lose some weight. Let's say our goal is to lose 10 pounds. Then the first thing we need to do is to buy bathroom scales so we can measure the weight. Then if we ask ourselves what activities may affect the weight, what can cause the weight to increase or decrease? Perhaps giving up on ice cream or Krispy Kreme donuts. Maybe take a walk versus driving a short distance. Most likely there are two such activities, the food intake and physical exercises. So if we're serious about losing 10 pounds, we have to change the diet and perform exercises. We can experiment with changing the eating habits, the type of food, the amount, the number of meals, perhaps join gym classes, martial arts school, take walks, jogging. But by closely monitoring the weight, we'll be able, over the period of time, we'll be able to understand the following. Are we getting closer to the goal or further away? Does our peak strategy work? If not, we'll have to try something else. So the formula is really measure, execute, measure, correct. Measure again, execute again, measure again, and correct again. And this is how we will reach our goal. What gets measured gets done. Now let's have a look into business. And each business is a super complicated mechanism with tons of moving parts, which includes people, machinery, systems, and processes. And the goal of each business is to generate profit and stay profitable long term. One of the key factors to sustainability and profitability is how well the business serves its customers, how well they're satisfied. If we meet and exceed customers' expectations continuously, they'll keep buying from us. And conversely, if we serve them poorly, breaking promises, they may start looking around and for another vendor and eventually leave. And who can blame them? The revenue will decline, profit will decline, the cash flow will also decline. That's why for company management, it's imperative to understand how well they serve customers, how customers perceive them as vendor. And this is where on-time delivery performance matrix can help. When measured correctly in timely manner, on-time performance provides the feedback how well we serve customers. We'll be able to spot negative trends and act upon them, take corrective actions before it's too late. Okay, we've decided to measure and improve on-time performance. What's next? The next thing we need to understand is how to differentiate late deliveries shipments from on-time deliveries and shipments for sales orders, customer schedules, and intercompany orders where applicable. We need to be crystal clear since the whole matrix is based on the accuracy of this logic. Once we filter out those late orders, the next step is to classify them. As we start analyzing the data, we'll uncover that some specific activities cause delays. And since business is a collection of people, machinery, systems, and processes, then potentially we have activities that are people-related, machinery-related, system-related, and processes-related. Within each category, there might be lower-level subcategories, which also could be helpful to track and analyze, but these four could be a good start. The solution we have developed offers flexibility and effectiveness measuring on-time performance. It can serve as one of the main dashboards for your whole company to improve on-time rates and therefore improve customer relationships. If we look under the hood, we'll see there's a program that runs automatically in short time intervals. It filters out late shipments into a side cache table. The program logic is tuned such a way that you'll see late shipments before shipment transaction and invoicing occurs in a system. So that gives you some extra time to react. There's also an Excel data loader that you use to analyze late orders and quickly assign late reason codes for further analysis. Let's have a look. The data loader is an Excel tool which was straightforward to use, has a couple of buttons here, so you can just click on the download and it downloads all the late orders into the spreadsheet where you can review and analyze and assign late reason codes in this column. You can also make some comments, and once done, just hit the upload and the information is taken back to the system. Those reason codes are maintained in QAD Reason Code Maintenance program. Now let's have a look into the dashboard. There's no user ID password required. Simply point your browse to an URL and the on-time trend will appear on the screen. If you know how to use Google search, you'll be able to use this application as well. It's very straightforward, no training required. This version of the dashboard tracks required date and the due date. So that's why you see two curves here. Typically, required date is what customer requires, and then the due date, our internal due date. So that's why customer actually requires sooner than the due date. So that's why the numbers for the required date lower than the due date here. But you may just track one of them, not necessarily two. But this version shows both of them. Now, the red line represents the target which management can set for the business. And each data point represents months, as you can see. I can use zoom in, zoom out buttons to change the view. So for instance, if I click zoom in, now I can see weekly. My view is weekly view. And if I click again, I'll see daily. And in the opposite direction, if I click, I'll see quarters and I can see year. And at any point of time, I can add more points from history just by clicking on the left arrow. So I can see and measure, for instance, last year versus this year, a few last quarters against quarters of this year, and so on. And then if I want to remove those data points, you just click on the opposite direction. At any point of time, I may see the trend and analyze the trend. Where are we going? What's the and then at any point I can just place my mouse over to see the numbers behind. So for instance, the lowest point here I can see it's 75%, and the date range points to June of this year. My on-time performance is 75%. So I can click on it actually and find out why. So the lower graph appears showing me, first of all, the label represents, okay, it tells me that I've selected this point here, and it shows me a bar chart where I can understand like 36% because of the method, and 17% because of material, and 14% because of the measurements. I'll also be able to actually click on those bars and see the numbers behind them. And this is the subcategories. This is the reasons why we have 36% here. That each of these little drivers attribute to why we were late that many orders in the month of June. As you can see, these two bars, these two graphs complement each other. So one shows trend, another one shows the breakdown by reason. So it gives you insight, many insights to questions that people may ask in the company. Like for example, if I'm a general manager, I'll be able to use this tool to evaluate how my entire company serves customers. If I'm plant manager, I'll be able to use use the filter. For example, I can just place site number 40 here, and I'll be able to use this tool to to understand how my manufacturing site is meeting customers' expectation. If I'm a product manager, I'll be able to use this dashboard to understand how my supply chain is performing. I can just simply use product family and product line filters and product family, and then see this picture. If I'm a customer service agent, I'll be able to explore how good we serve a particular customer. how they perceive us as vendor. Many answers can be found by using this tool. As far as benefits, the on-time dashboard is a browser-based web application. It's real-time and non-invasive by design. It is fully automated, which means when it's up and running, no one needs to do anything to make the report available. On-time dashboard is available to everyone in your company, not limited to a small group of people or to QAD users only. Any person in any department can use it. What does this mean to you exactly? Well, when everyone sees the on-time performance against the target and understands whether we're getting closer to the target, are we getting better or are we getting worse? When everyone sees all of those reason codes, the critical drivers, it becomes clear what's holding us back to reach our goals. People feel more accountable themselves. The dashboard improves the engagement and motivation of the whole company, realigns the focus, and improves interdepartment communication. It is said that where focus goes, energy flows. Departments will be able to spot negative trends and react immediately before it's too late. You'll be able to see the cause and effect in motion, track the impact of the events or decisions made on the on-time performance, and then come up with the better decisions and eventually hit your targets. Like with the weight example we talked earlier, you may try one tactics to see if it works, then measure, look at the trend, make corrections, and measure again. So measure, execute, measure, and then correct, and do it again. And this is how you hit the targets. As they say, what gets measured gets done. And one other thing, before we move to Q&A session, one other thing I just want to mention that this dashboard application can be adopted to track other key performance indicators. Like for example, production downtime or supplier performance. Same idea, using the site cache table, using the data loader to quickly analyze and assign the reason codes, and use this on-time dashboard, use the web dashboard itself to keep track, to present actually two curves, like to present two graphs which complement each other. One showing the trend, and another one shows the breakdown by reasons, multiple levels. With that, I'd like to ask Denise to take control back and facilitate Q&A.
You got it. We'll move along and take a look at what we have upcoming. We do take a summer break in August, but we're planning a great fall lineup, which kicks off in September when Olena returns with Pick Up the Pace of Your PO Creation. So if you are spending too much time getting purchase orders into QAD, this is one you're not going to want to miss. For October, we do have two terrific options we're tossing back and forth right now, so stay tuned. And November, we are all set. Keep on top of your changing safety stock needs. Also, this fall, we will be attending both the Midwest User Group and West Coast User Group conferences. So if you're attending, of course, be sure to stop by and say hello. Webinar registrations are open. Links to our upcoming events and to register are available at the bottom of all of our communications and on our website too, of course. Alex, I'm going to take a look to see if we have any additional questions. Is there anything else you wanted to add? We do have some questions, but if you want to add anything while I'm... As our regular attendees know, I usually like to end with a thought-provoking or inspiring quote of some sort, and I was going to end with accountability because it was so applicable. I even selected the quote, wait, here we go. On good teams, coaches hold players accountable. On great teams, players hold players accountable. And I thought this was great and applicable to this particular solution, the dashboard. But due to summer break, I don't get to host again until September, and I thought I might counter any dieting thoughts provoked by Alex's weight loss analogy by pointing out that, where am I? The more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. So stay safe, eat cake, and enjoy all your parties and barbecues for the rest of the summer. We hope to see you all right back here in September. Thanks so much for your time, everybody, and have a great and productive day.